there, I'm JB Portello. Welcome to In the Know. This program is to help you be aware and informed of projects and events going on in our area. Each month, we're going to post the program on the POA's Facebook page and make it available on community television. Want to be in the know? Then stay tuned. Good morning, everybody. JB Portello here. We're glad to see you. Welcome to 2020. With me again is Tom Judson.
How are you?
I am great. How's your 2020 going?
It's going well.
Good.
Going well. Just got back from vacation.
You were into...
Well, I went and visited my mother in California.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
She's 91, so you try and visit as often as possible.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, to get started here this morning, the last board meeting was quite a distance away, but we did some really good things there.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about our last celebrating success.
So we recognize Kyle Pullen and Ryan Hatfield. They're on our maintenance and construction team, our MAC team. And we have a delivery truck that came in and was too tall at Lake Point and hit the portico and got stuck. And so they had to come out and do a lot of work and let the air out of the tires, back it up, and so forth. So they really went above and beyond. And we were in a time crunch because we were getting close to when we were supposed to open. So they really did a fantastic job. Really appreciate their efforts.
I don't know that I would have thought of letting the air out of the tires, but that was pretty clever, wasn't it?
Pretty clever.
I love it. I love it. You also, I think, there were some service awards that were recently given out.
Yeah, we try and do regular awards to recognize our employees working 5, 10, 15 plus years. So we brought in 36 of our employees that have been here at least 5 years and recognized one of our employees, Mike Taggart, received an award. He's been with us for 35 years.
Wow.
That's really impressive. So we have just a huge number of employees dedicated that have been with us for many, many years, and it's really quite special.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm so glad you do that. That's important to recognize people.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people just go along and do stuff, and we sometimes take them for granted. But you don't do that, and I'm glad. I think that's amazing. Okay. Let's talk about where we are on the quorum for the vote.
So as of this morning, we're at 44.3%. So remember, we have to get to 50% for it to be a valid vote. And we're at 44.3. This compares to the last vote. We tracked it day-to-day comparison. We were at 44.8. So about 0.5% behind. So I think we're going to make quorum. So if you haven't voted, please go ahead and vote. Looks like we're going to hit quorum. I'm very optimistic at this point.
Just for clarification, you said 50%. I thought it was 51%.
So great question. So the quorum is 50%.
Okay.
And then you have a valid vote.
Okay.
Now, once you have a valid vote, you have to get 51% to say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So last time we had 53% voted and we reached quorum, okay, but only 50.1% voted yes, and we had to have 51%.
Okay.
Now, if we miss quorum, we don't hit the 50%, we can go out with the exact same question, and the question is, at this point, 13-0. If we go out with the exact same question within 90 days, quorum drops from 50% down to 25%. So that's something for the board to consider. If we don't hit quorum, would they potentially go for a third vote?
All right. Well, anything else you want to say about that right now?
No, I think I think the main thing is we need people to vote.
Yes.
It looks like we're going to hit quorum. I'm very optimistic. The vote ends on January 16th. Mm-hmm. We have a meeting at Reardon Hall at 6 p.m. We hope everybody can attend and watch. We'll be live streaming that also.
Right.
So if you can't make it, you can watch it from the comfort of your own home.
That's exactly right. Okay, well, let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to ask you, I think we've just had a rumor lately that you refused to be interviewed. Is that right?
Yeah, I heard about that. Of course, I had to hear about it through the grapevine because I was in California. Visiting my mother. We booked the reservations in November, and then a local reporter contacted us, and I said I'd be happy to interview, but unfortunately I'm away. Because I'm always willing to talk. And as I've said to you, you may not like what I have to say, you may not agree, but I'm always willing to talk.
Yes. Okay.
Now, there was one other thing. This is unrelated to the rumor.
Okay.
Wanted to make sure we tell everybody about the Scottsdale detour. So Daryl Muldoon has come up with a great idea on how to detour around the bridge that is closed. And so we're planning on opening up all 18 holes at Scottsdale starting January 18th, provided the weather cooperates. But we're planning on opening up all 18 holes, which we're really happy about.
Okay.
And it was a great idea that Daryl came up with.
That's good. That's those creative employees.
Absolutely.
All righty. Anything else we need to tell folks today? Because
No.
we have a guest that's coming up in the second half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you as always.
You got it.
All right. We'll be right back. Hi there. Welcome back. We have a guest with us now, Dave Armstrong, who I'm going to introduce you to in just a second. But he is here. We want to talk about the reality of a COO salary. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Would you tell me or us something about you?
Yeah, I grew up in Detroit. My folks started coming to Arkansas when I was about 12 years old. They ended up moving to Hot Springs Village. I'm happy to say they're both still alive, 93 and 89 years old, and they moved here to Bella Vista in March of this year, and they're loving every second of being here. And so I went to John Brown University over in Siloam Springs, Arkansas, and after that became a broadcaster and spent a lot of time traveling all around the Midwest. Started off in small town radio, paid my dues, and then went from that to small time TV, and then eventually landed a job with ESPN and Fox Sports and also the Kansas City Royals and the Colorado Rockies. So I spent the last 35 years of my career as a broadcaster, and now I've transitioned here, moving to Bella Vista 2 years ago. I've transitioned into the world of real estate, work with Cry-like, with a lot of great realtors there, and really am enjoying that, helping people find that dream home or sell a home that they can move on with their life. I just really enjoy that. I like that connection, and I really, JB, like sleeping in my own bed every night.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
No more travels.
No more travels.
No more travel.
Yeah.
Well, from the viewpoint of a realtor, that's what you are right now.
Yeah.
Would you talk a little bit about, let's get us started here on what it takes to run a city or a community, whatever we are, we're
Right.
both,
Right.
like Bella Vista from a POA COO standpoint.
Okay, I look at Bella Vista as a unique environment, a unique community, in that we are an amenities-based community. That is our main corporation, if you will. If you equate it to other small towns that thrive because of one big business that is in that community, and almost everybody either works for that business or all of the other businesses are in existence because of that corporation. The POA is our largest corporation, and the amenities that it provides, that's really what makes Bella Vista thrive. And when I look at it from a real estate standpoint, I see that Bella Vista is ranked number 3 on the Forbes list of best places in America to retire.
That's right.
That's a fact. And the reason that it's number 3 on that list is because of our amenities, because of the golf courses, the tennis courts, the lakes, the trails. All of that encompasses the fact that we have a great community to live, to play, to recreate, to do all of those things. And so when I look at a corporation, and you have to call it that, like the POA, if all of a sudden that corporation starts to diminish, the entire community as a result diminishes. Just as if it were a big factory in a small town and the factory closes its doors, And all of a sudden, those people have nowhere to go. Well, what happens at that point are property values plummet. And they plummet in a way that you can't recover from, because there's nothing else bringing new people, new blood into that community.
Right.
And if we lose our amenities, and even if they diminish to where we close a golf course or we don't even mow the grass as often as we do to keep them at a level where they're really in great condition, if our golf courses turn into goat ranches, that will affect our standing nationwide. And as a result of that, we're going to be in trouble as a community. And so I'd like to see people get a broader vision for what Bella Vista is. And it's a vision that, okay, I don't play golf, so I don't care. Well, there's a lot of things, amenities that are provided by the POA that I don't use and probably will never use, but I'm glad they're there. And they're for other people to enjoy. I don't shoot guns, but I'm glad we have a gun range. I don't have archery, but I'm glad they're thinking about putting in an archery range or a place to shoot skeet. I probably will never get on a mountain bike and get on these trails, but I'll probably walk the trails and I'll enjoy that. And so I'm for doing what's good for our community. Look, you look at a big city, like where I came from, Overland Park. We had one of the best public school systems in the country. Well, we paid for it through our taxes. We paid a high property tax in Overland Park. After my kids were grown and gone and out of school and on to college and all that, did I mind paying those taxes? No. And the reason I didn't is because I knew that's what drew people to Overland Park, were the school system and what we had to offer as a community. We live in a community, and even if you don't use every amenity, even if you don't use any of the amenities, that's what makes our community great.
You know, I've heard members make the statement before that, you know what, my property values are up anyway, so we really don't need an increase. How do you respond to that?
They're up for two reasons. Number one, they're up because all of Northwest Arkansas, we're getting kind of a push from that because of the growth throughout Bentonville, Rogers. And so we're getting a little bit of growth coming from Bentonville where it's maybe a little more expensive than Bella Vista. So we're seeing a lot of younger families moving into the east side where they can still be in the Bentonville School District. But I think the main reason our property values are up is because our amenities are better. Because of what Tom Judson has done in his tenure here as the COO of the POA, the fact that the country club is totally renovated and beautiful, the fact that Lake Point is totally renovated and beautiful, the fact that Branchwood is better, the fact that they've added the trails, all of these things are adding value into our home prices. And as a result of that, if those go away again, that value's got to do it. It can't go up. It can only come down. And the reason it would come down is because then you don't have people moving here because of those amenities. I'll use me as an example. 3 years ago, we came on an ambassador tour to Bella Vista. And the first place they took us on the ambassador tour was the country club. Now, it was about 90% done as far as the renovation. I didn't know what it was like before. You were here then. From what I understand, it was just like a storage building.
Pretty much.
It was run down. It was a shack. And the old pro shop was a little shack next door.
Yes.
And I only saw it as, wow, this is beautiful.
Has great potential.
And man, do I enjoy it. I love coming to the BV Grill. You know, I look at our restaurants, and I've heard criticism of our restaurants, but I'm thinking, where else can you go in Northwest Arkansas, especially as a Bella Vista resident? Where can you go that's so convenient, but also offers the best views of any restaurant you could go to? You go to Lake Point, you look out at the lake. It's awesome. You go here to the country club. Wow, you look out over this pristine golf course. Isn't that wonderful? You can't find that in Bentonville or Rogers. And so I love coming to both Lake Point, and the food is good, and the prices are reasonable. And so I just look at everything that's been provided, the things that have been done. That's what's increased our property values. That's what's helped us out. And if those things go away, it can only do one thing. It can only go down. I ask every client that comes in from New Jersey or California or Minnesota or wherever, all over the country, how did you find Bella Vista? And I would say 70% found it online.
Really?
They find it through the internet, and they find it through the studies of other retirement communities, other communities to raise a family. It's now becoming more than just a retirement community.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the transition. Our average age now is 50, and it's going down. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. We're bringing vibrancy into our community. We need to embrace these younger families that are moving in and make them feel like a welcome part of Bella Vista. I think that's all part of what I was talking about, is expanding our vision for what Bella Vista truly is. I would love to see us embrace these young families and maybe do more activities for their kids and do what they're doing there. And I think the POA has plans to do more of that. But you can only do that if you have the budget to do it. And we need the budget.
We need the budget, but just as much, we need somebody who is our COO that is a professional,
Yes.
that knows how to lead this community.
Yes,
Now, let's remind everybody, the board is the one that hired
that's right.
our COO. Okay, let's talk about Tom's salary, because that seems to be a big deal going on right now.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you
Okay, first of all, I think, why is it a big deal? Because we're not voting on Tom's salary,
No, we're not.
right?
No.
The last I looked, we're voting on an amendment to increase our POA dues. So I look at that, I just take that on itself. All right, but let's talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is Tom's salary. For whatever reason, this has become a real sticking point for people that want to vote no. And they think that just because he makes, in their opinion, too much money, then we should vote no. And so I started looking into this a little bit. And first of all, it's the board that decides who to hire and how much to pay that person.
Exactly.
Tom did not come in with an iron fist and say, I demand you pay me this.
No.
He came in, they offered him the job at this salary. How did they come to that? Well, they did a study, and they hired an independent outside firm to do a study of, all right, we need a COO to run a $28 million corporation with 400 employees. What's the going rate for how much that would pay a normal executive in that role? And you know, they came up with a salary figure that is actually a little lower than the average. So even though it might seem like he's making a lot of money, and I've heard even lies about how much he makes. And when they do it, they include all of his benefits. How many times have you ever heard of when they say, so-and-so makes so much? Well, that includes their health benefits and a retirement plan and any other thing.
And the matching,
Right.
matching pieces.
Oh, he makes more than the vice president. No, he doesn't. When you consider, and they're talking about the vice president of the United States. I've heard people tell me that. No, he doesn't. When you factor in all of the amenities that a vice president of the United States gets, it's not even close. And so I always say this, you get what you pay for.
You do, and you really can't compare a government operation
No.
with a private corporation.
No. And so in my mind, okay, you brought in an executive that knows what he's doing.
Yes.
You get what you pay for. You hire someone and you ask him to have a vision for Bella Vista that is different than what we had in the past. Now again, I can't speak too much to the past because I wasn't here. But from what I heard, Lake Point was horrible. The country club was horrible. Branchwood was starting to become decayed and no good. We didn't have any trails. Our golf courses were even getting a little more run down. And so he came in and said, wow, this whole place needs a fresh coat of paint. We've got to do some reno. And again, back to real estate. I look at a home, and you walk into a home, and I try to go sell one that's 20 years old, 30 years old, and that homeowner has just lived there and has never done a thing, never painted a wall, never taken down wallpaper, never fixed up any counters, has the original carpeting. Well, you can tell.
Yeah.
It runs down. And as a result, this whole community was run down, and it wasn't growing. Tom comes in with this new vision. We need to fix this up. We need to fix this up. Yes, we spent down some money, but there was too much money
Because we're a nonprofit.
in the coffers.
corporate.
We're a nonprofit.
Right.
Why do you have all that stored up? For what? What are you saving it for? It's not just raining, it's pouring.
Yes.
We need to fix up our community. And he did that. And again, from a personal experience, had he not improved all of these facilities, there's no chance my wife and I would have moved here from Overland Park. We'd have looked for other communities to move to. And that is the same story we're hearing from all of the clients that I'm dealing with that are moving here from all over the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I tell you what, this has been great. I really have enjoyed hearing from your perspective.
Thank
You're
you.
a respected person in the community and the real estate angle.
Thank you.
That helps.
Thanks, JB.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. So, Bella Vista, we encourage you to vote on the assessment increase, and let's make this thing move forward. Thanks again, Dave, and
Thank you.
thanks to Tom earlier, and we will see you next month.